You're listening to the Bill Simmons podcast presented by FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook is the best place to bet on the NBA. We have these fun little Tuesday, Friday player performance stuff. We have same game parlays. We have picks from me sometimes and boosts and all kinds of fun things. Get ready in the playoffs. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today to get in on the action. And by the way, The Ringer is committed to responsible gaming. Please visit theringer.com/RG to learn more. Listen to the end of this episode for additional details. Must be 21 plus, present in select states. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Coming up, I am still at the Masters. We're going to talk a lot about golf, and we're going to do some NBA at the top. It's all next. We're also brought to you by the Ringer Podcast Network, where we launched the Zach Lowe Show this week. He did 3 episodes. You can watch them as video podcasts on Spotify. You can listen to them wherever you get your podcasts. You can watch it on Zach's YouTube channel that we launched as well. So check it out. I might pop on there next week. FanDuel Sportsbook, we're doing 30 on 30 on Fridays, where you can bet on 30-point scores for the last Friday of the NBA regular season. I'll be tweeting out my picks at some point on Friday. Coming up on this podcast, Joe House and I stayed up late here on the East Coast to watch Minnesota. Minnesota, convincing. We're going to talk about that and what the West picture looks like for the playoffs headed into the final weekend of the season. And then we talk about the Masters. Me and House and Nathan Hubbard, our fairway rolling hosts. We were at the course all day today. We noticed a lot of stuff. We're going to talk about that. And then last but not least, we had James Baby Doll Dixon on the Tuesday pod. A lot of questions from listeners, from people in my life. What's going on with that guy? So we dove into it with me and Sal and Chang and Baby Doll. And we went for a full hour with him. So this is quite a podcast. I think we should bring in our friends from Pro Jam. All right, we're taping this past midnight on the East Coast because we are here in Augusta, Georgia. We're going to talk a lot of golf. We're going to do a big Baby Doll deep dive later. We have a lot of good stuff coming up on this podcast. But Joe House is here, and we stayed up late to watch Minnesota-Memphis, a game that yet again had dramatic Western Conference ramifications. Minnesota wins. Minnesota now the 7 seed. Memphis now the 8 seed. Looking like they're going to get absolutely slaughtered by OKC.
Wait a minute.
Unless
that's right.
Unless they lose the 8-9 game. So Memphis, 12-17 in their last 29. That includes a coach firing. 21st net rating in those games, not counting tonight. And they would play either Sacramento or Dallas in the 8-9 game. And we were watching them this whole game. And I've watched them a few times. They can't guard anybody anymore. It just feels like anyone can go off on them. If they go a little smaller, they can get bullied. They can't guard anybody's like perimeter point guard, scoring guard type guy. It's a mess. And I just don't think they're any kind of threat whatsoever.
I wholeheartedly agree. The interesting thing to me is this whole game flipped in the third quarter. It was...
Yeah, Memphis was winning at halftime.
They were up 5 at halftime. It was 72-67 at
we
halftime.
knew this. We knew this because you had a first half bet on Minnesota. That somehow, you played that perfectly.
It worked out absolutely sublime, as usual. But the third quarter was 52-25. 52 points in the third quarter for the Minnesota
What's
Timberwolves.
The coach's name? Coach B.O.?
T.O.B.O.
T.O.B.O.
Yeah.
The new Memphis coach who apparently didn't have any defensive playbook stuff.
The interim Memphis coach.
Yeah.
The Memphis coach for the moment.
What a disappointment. When you think where that team was 3 years ago versus where they're heading going forward and what their assets are.
What do you think where that team was 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago?
So the most interesting thing they have going is, John Morant, he's doing a grenade now. He was doing the gun before. Now he's doing the grenade celebration. It's like, how about play some fucking defense, John Morant? How about that? Why don't you guard somebody?
It's a team that needs some shaking up. The coach firing
like what? Would you trade for John Morant? If you're the Wizards GM?
No, God, no. John Morant makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
If you got the fourth pick in the draft, would you trade Jordan Poole in the fourth pick for John Morant?
No. Well, Jordan, no.
Okay.
I understand the marketing stuff. He's beloved in Memphis. Berto reminds us of, the trajectory he was on with the Nike relationship and with the league's interest in promoting him.
As my friend Polly Walnuts once said, remember when is the lowest form of conversation.
It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, I get it. Well, so Ant has grabbed, and we knew this happened already, but Ja had that cool young on the rise superstar spot, and Ant grabbed it and was awesome tonight. Now who knows? This could flip around, but Minnesota plays Brooklyn and Utah at home. Two teams that don't want to win games anymore. Worst case scenario, they're going to be a 7 seed unless there's some sort of massive collapse. Golden State is at Portland, home for the Clippers next two. So Minnesota could potentially climb to 6, where they'd play the Lakers, potentially. I assume the Lakers, they play home Houston and at Portland. I don't know. This is so confusing. I feel stupid even bringing up all the matchups. My point is, if it's 2-7 and it's Houston, Minnesota, first of all, that's an awesome series.
That's an awesome series.
Second of all, there's definitely going to be some sort of altercation.
Altercations.
I don't know what it'll be, but there will be an altercation.
There'll be a fracas.
A fracas and a fracas.
There'll be a Donnybrook.
There's going to be an imbroglio.
An imbroglio, yes. All of them. They'll all be lined up.
You and I have had this. We've known each other since 1988. We never like to bet a playoff series where we don't have the best player in the series. Houston, Minnesota, 2-7. The 7 seed would have the best player in the series.
It is undeniable.
Now, Houston has a bunch of awesome defensive players and athletes.
They do.
To throw at that best player.
They could.
Not only do they have Ahmed Thompson, who's been coming on like a freight train, and I think it has to be heard from in all defense.
Tremendous.
Not only have Dylan Brooks, who will try to start 19 fights with Ant, and I don't know if you remember that game they had earlier in the season, which was one of the most fun games of the season. They also have Tari Eason.
Yes.
So this is like, on paper, the perfect team to just throw dudes over and over again at Ant. So my guess is, because of what I just said about, you never want to not have the best player in a series, there's going to be Minnesota stuff, but I kind of like Houston if that's the matchup.
That's interesting. I do have immense respect for Ime. I do think they will game plan to try and do their best to limit Ant. I do think they'll game plan to make sure that Julius Randle has the ball as much as possible.
Yeah, but he was good tonight. He's figured out where he fits in on this Minnesota team from a bully ball standpoint. Like, Memphis went a little small in that game tonight. And he was like, cool, I'm going to he does that thing. He keeps banging into you, does a little fade away. Or he goes to the basket. I don't know. I do feel like him going to the basket. Found his identity a little bit on this team.
My issue, and I've said it a couple times, I think I said it earlier this week with Houston, is I don't trust them scoring, getting the tough buckets that you need in a playoff series. You give them credit
for the wins lately, though? They've had some nice wins.
They need the tough buckets in a playoff series where the team has engineered a game plan to take away what you do, what you want to do on offense in the last 6 or 7 minutes.
There's bad advanced metrics for them in the half court.
Yep.
There's half court stats that are bad. There's crunch time stuff that's terrible.
Yes.
And that would be the hope if you're Minnesota, is you have a guy who could score, and Houston potentially doesn't. And it's the Fred VanVleet step back. But I don't know, man. Houston feels like the perfect team to just frustrate Ant, throw all kinds of shit at him, throw little staggered little double teams at him, just get him so that he wants to go into hero ball mode against really good defenders. And it's a really interesting series. So as unexcited as I would be about Memphis OKC or Sacramento OKC or the corpse of Dallas against OKC.
Dallas OKC.
Yeah.
Nico.
Yeah. So then here's the other thing. So it looks like the Lakers are going to be the 3 seed. Now, they could blow the Houston game on they have a home game against Houston, who I don't know. It just feels like the Lakers really like where they are right now against most teams. But let's say 3-6 is Lakers Golden State.
All-timer.
All-time fun first round.
Yeah.
Just a history series.
But
we watched this happen 2 weeks ago, and the Lakers are a really good matchup for Golden State because they can go small. Any team where they can play Draymond at the 5 is a win for Golden State.
The league doesn't want that. The league does not want the Lakers and Golden State in the first round.
Oh, I like where you're going with this. They want to rig it a little bit?
Well, let's just pay attention to the referee assignments. That'll be one way.
You go referee assignments?
Let's just make sure we're monitoring all the data points that are out there that might, impact how you want to handicap these last couple of games of the season. Just be mindful. That's all I'm saying.
Well, so we could get that and then Denver Clippers. But,
that's not what the league wants. The league does not want Denver Clippers and using up all of the juice of this, moment in LeBron's career and this moment in Steph Curry's career. I don't want it. I don't want to see this in the first round. I don't want to see Golden State and the Lakers in the first round.
Counter. That, we're going to have some sort of matchup where you're like, shit, I wish these teams were playing in round 1. It's going to be somebody. If Kawhi is healthy with the Clippers,
yes,
that's a fun matchup, just period, against anybody. And then this Denver team, we were studying the internet video of Denver beats the Kings. Adelman's first game as the interim coach, gives a little speech. Locker room seemed kind of raucous for him after. And it really made me think it might have even been worse than they were letting on, just the vibe.
I'm dying for Lakers Clippers in the first round.
Lakers, it's never happened.
Dying for it.
Has it ever happened?
I can't think of it.
I don't think it's ever happened.
You would know. You're the one that writes books. I can't think of it.
I feel like we've had moments. I remember in 2006 when the Lakers were up 3-1 against the Suns, and then they fell apart, and then Kobe didn't shoot in the second half because he was so mad at everybody. That was the year it was supposed to be Lakers Clippers. Other than that, I don't think it's ever happened.
I just love
Did it happen in the bubble?
The LA Conch aspect of it.
LA Conch.
Because Ballmer with his brand new stadium.
Yeah.
Right? And we finally have healthy Kawhi. The Clippers absolutely positively will not, go down. They are not going to let the Lakers bully them.
Yeah.
And then I quite like the idea of Denver and Golden State as a series in the first round.
It's another one.
That's
Golden State.
Super fun.
I think Golden State probably feels like they have a more complete team, better bench. They'll just let Jokic have his 35, 15, and 12 and take out everybody. Denver, the one thing they did, they started Pickett and played him big minutes, and seems like they try to confine Westbrook to and he was 2 for 11 in 17 minutes.
Seems like a good idea.
But some of the stuff that came out, The Athletic had a piece about how Westbrook was a big lightning rod with Booth, and it sounds like everything was a lightning rod with those guys. But Malone was playing Westbrook too much. The front office was really upset about that. I mean, he's a nightmare in these crunch times.
They were resting guys. What do you want them to do?
I don't know.
They keep choosing. This is the game where Porter Jr. will sit out. This is the game that Jamal's going to sit out. Jamal's got an injury that needs some nursing.
Where do you stand on just firing a coach in the last month or the last week of the season? Because we did not grow up with.
I'm flabbergasted by it. I don't understand it, and it doesn't look like. I mean,
why didn't they just fire the GM?
That would have been fine.
If it was all about this was such a poisonous thing, why not fire the GM and then figure out they must have also felt like the coach had just completely lost the team. It's the only explanation.
I told you. I think that Josh Kroenke should have stood up and said, "This is on me." There was a moment a long time ago when somebody in that management structure should have intervened and said, "We're not going to let this happen. We're not going to have a poisonous relationship and have tension inside this building."
Yeah, but they're patient with all their coaches, though, in all the sports. This is how they do it.
They weren't patient.
This time they weren't.
It doesn't make any sense.
I think they felt like, we have one of the great offensive players of all time. We're going the wrong way. Can we still salvage this? These West matchups are fucking crazy to figure out. Why not?
How are they going to salvage it?
They're announcing this was done the way it was. So at least if we do this, maybe it's not done. But this version is done.
What's this?
What's this? Fire the coach, try to change the energy around the team.
The energy.
Put somebody in there who's actually going to play, the younger guys and not Russell Westbrook. I don't know.
It's the end of the season. What are we doing?
Can we talk about what we saw in that? Now, granted, Chang was making dinner for 20 people. So we had the Laker game on and we're trying to watch. Then we caught up on all the highlights. But I happened to be watching live when Luka just started breaking down during that whole.
You called us all over.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Because I was like, is he getting choked up? Because we had no sound on.
It's not believable.
I can't ever remember in the history of sports a situation like this with a team. I'm talking about Dallas, not the Lakers.
It reminds us, it is once again, it's just another chapter in this book that's called "This is the dumbest fucking thing in the history of sports." So chapter 23.
Yeah.
The first time that the player that we traded and then immediately started dragging down in every public forum we could.
And then we made Slovenian t-shirts for him and did a video.
And then did
thank him.
A 5-minute celebration video.
It is the dumbest fucking team.
All the incredible things that he did for that franchise to make them relevant, that they were on an ascending trajectory. I was excited to see them in these playoffs this year with Luka. I bet them to exceed their win total. I was bullish on this Dallas team. It's fine for him to have the injury that he had.
Well, he wanted to work out his injury on his own. So
I mean, it's the fuck off Mavericks. And that's the way they're going to be for the next 5 years.
That would be a good t-shirt, the fuck off Mavericks. Two things. One, I've never seen, it's almost like when they have those probability things of like a coin toss, and it's like, this guy flipped a quarter, and 23 straight times it came up heads. The Mavericks 23 straight times have made the wrong decision, where I've completely disagreed with whatever they decided to do, starting with not shopping the trade.
Not shopping.
Like you go on through every single piece, then the trade happens, the way they handled it, the way Mark Cuban didn't do anything, and then all of a sudden went on his little tour pretending he didn't have anything to do with it. Did you? Even though he didn't.
I heard a wrinkle here in the last 10 days or so that I hadn't heard before.
What was it?
Which was the idea
the Mavericks had a concussion?
Concussion barely covers it. It's brain damage. That Pelinka was less than forthcoming, less than truthful, less than 100% upfront about the nature of Anthony Davis's injury. Have you heard anything about this?
I have not.
That Pelinka took advantage of his relationship with his protege, sneaker boy.
He definitely did.
And an element of that was an injury that he characterized in their conversations was something that Anthony Davis could overcome, was not going to be, as
doesn't
impactful.
Matter. Like, to me, that's irrelevant. It was still the stupidest trade of our lifetime.
Well, I don't disagree.
Get Austin Reeves in the trade, fuck faces.
I have no argument with anything that you say. It remains, again, the dumbest effing trade.
Also, like, if they had called us in, I've said this before, but did anyone bring up, you might be lighting a fire under him. This is already a stupid trade, but the person you're trading, you're basically killing off that person, and he's going to be a much more motivated version of the same person, which is going to be bad for, like, just don't do this. I wonder what, off to your Davis point, I wonder what happens if they bring him in for a physical. They already have the outcry, and then they fail him in the physical the way the Lakers failed Mark Williams. And they void the trade.
I wrote to you.
That would be been an amazing outcome. Then let it fire under Luka anyway.
In the first 12 hours after the trade, I wrote in our text thread when all of us were trying to make some sense out of it. What if this was the most Machiavellian big baller move by Nico, which is, to create a market that he couldn't otherwise create by failing Anthony Davis on the physical and having every team in the league now see that he's available. Because it just takes too much time and energy to shop Luka and see what might come out of the woodwork to each of the remaining 32 teams. I mean, we were here in Augusta, Georgia, in the company of a really, God, I love that conversation so much, an NBA upper highest echelon person who shared with us that
I don't
the
think
price
we can
available.
share.
All I'm going to say, they would have paid any price. There was no price that was not on the table, and that's all
I think
I'm
a lot
say.
of teams felt that way.
You know who didn't get a chance to participate?
All the other teams.
31 teams in the league, or 30 teams in the league.
And the 2 expansion teams, they also would have traded everything.
That's right.
Well, so the one thing is just, I can't believe how many decisions in a row the Mavericks screwed up. Even to this week, with the way they handled everything, was amazing.
Bananas.
The second thing, and we've been moving this way now for 20 years, and maybe Jordan even started it in the 90s, where fans like they player more than a team. We've never seen a trade where the fans went with the player, right?
So true.
We saw LeBron fans follow him to Cleveland, Miami, back to Cleveland, LA, just because they were LeBron fans. We've seen the phenomenon in the 21st century of, I just like this player, I'm following him wherever. Maybe it's Kevin Durant, whoever it is. We've never seen a fan base kind of switch sides against the team, but yet it kind of makes sense, because you think like people get divorced all the time.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
What is it? Like 50% of marriages end in divorce?
That's the stat.
Is that the, why'd you say it so nervously?
You never
got something
know.
to tell me?
No.
But this could be the first ever, I've divorced my team and now I am following Luka on the Lakers, and that's my new team. I felt like there was real seeds in the stands last night. I don't know if it was just Laker fans. Some of those fans might have just been Mavs fans who are now like, fuck it, I'm a Laker fan.
I don't think that's up for debate. I think that there is a large body of evidence.
But this could be the next 10 years.
I think
like every time he comes back, the Lakers are treated like it's a home game for the Lakers in Dallas.
That is going to happen. I expect that.
Well, there's only one outcome now, and this has been the conspiracy the whole time. But that the family gets the Vegas team, and they make the Dallas team the expansion team. That's actually like a realistic outcome now.
The league can't countenance that. Can the league really live with that outcome?
Well,
that would be a bad outcome for the league.
What if Cuban bought the team back?
I mean,
Mark Cuban, conquering hero, coming out. I shouldn't have sold the team. I'll take them back now. My bad. And maybe it's worth less, because they've destroyed $1 billion of value.
I think at least $1 billion. I think it's easy. You could easily run a math.
How about this
exercise and get to $2 billion? I think
we didn't plan on this. Let's do it right now. Teams you would rather own than the Mavericks. I'll just list every team. OKC, Cleveland, Boston, Houston, the Knicks. You'd want to own all of those teams over the Mavericks.
True story.
Lakers, Indiana.
Yes.
Denver.
Sure.
Clippers, new arena.
Amazing.
Golden State, sure. Memphis.
I would rather own Memphis, yes.
Really?
Well, they have some things that they have to figure out, but they have assets. They have moves.
I'd rather own Dallas. Minnesota?
Oh, Minnesota's awesome.
Milwaukee?
They're in a crossroads spot.
I'd rather have Milwaukee. Yeah. Detroit?
Detroit's incredible.
Rather have Detroit. How about that? If I told you 2 years ago you'd rather own the Detroit Pistons than the Dallas Mavericks.
Well, 2 years ago,
you'd say no way. Orlando? Yeah, I'd rather have Palo. I'm in Florida, no state tax.
I guess that's right.
Sacramento?
Now we're getting close. Now it's getting a little bit more of a... Yeah.
Yeah, all right. That's the first one. Atlanta, I'd rather have Atlanta.
Me too.
Chicago, I'd rather have Chicago and be in a major city.
Yeah.
Miami, heat culture.
Come on.
Phoenix.
So
tough one. Because you inherit the crazy luxury tax and all the terrible front office stuff. I think I'd rather have Dallas.
I'd rather have Dallas too. They're in a
I feel like I can get out of my Dallas situation.
They're in a very similar situation.
Portland?
Portland's great.
I'd rather have Portland. San Antonio, obviously. Toronto? I think I'd rather be Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto.
Brooklyn? Black sheep, New York scene, but I might get Cooper Flag in 2 months.
That one's close.
And have a bunch of picks. I'd rather be Brooklyn. Philly. Depends on where
5
that
years
pick
from
is.
now.
Yeah. New Orleans.
No, I would much rather have beat Dallas than New Orleans.
Okay, there's another one.
Not even close.
Would you rather be Charlotte or Dallas?
Dallas. Hard Dallas.
What if you got the flag pick? So Dallas, unless Charlotte gets the flag pick. And I'd rather be Utah. Would you rather be the Wizards or Dallas? Would you rather own Washington or Dallas?
So me, if it was me,
Anyone, normal person.
well, I mean that makes it different. The problem with Washington is there has been no validation of the proof of concept. It's been moribund for 2 decades now.
I think I'd rather have Dallas.
I understand.
So the point is, it was less than 6 teams.
Yes.
And a year ago, you would have put Dallas in the top 8. Of
They
teams
were in
you
the
would have wanted
finals
to own.
with Luka.
They were in the finals.
Come
They had an
on.
awesome team.
It's like
So maybe Mark Cuban buys them back for like $2.5 million. He makes
2.5
gets
billion.
it back for $1 billion. He gets it back for $1 billion cheaper.
It's just.
I'm in a really conflicted spot, by the way, because I kind of enjoy Luka, and like I do want him to stick it to them, but he's on the Lakers, the team that, other than the Yankees, I hate the most. And this is like really agonizing for me. They have Austin Reeves, who I really enjoy watching. They have Luka, who I enjoy the comeback thing. The LeBron thing's fascinating.
The most incredible thing, and this is why we should never put ourselves in the position of underestimating what the NBA is capable of, is that the first, quarter of the season, the narratives were, stop putting the effing Lakers and the effing Golden State Warriors on television. I'm sick of watching them.
Right.
They stink. There's nothing those teams can do to improve themselves.
We're basically ESPN classicing the league with these two teams.
Exactly. Can you please promote some of these younger players?
OKC, Cleveland, Detroit. Show us some new people.
We want to see that. And, ratings down. And they're gonna stay down. Like what can flip this? And here we are now.
Right.
With both of those two franchises, we can't wait to see these Western playoffs.
The irony of that, Lakers Warriors round 1, the biggest ratings in round 1 history. And Adam Silver
Yeah, that's exactly right. And every one of their TV partners
two things happened. Football ended, and the league figured out how to get Luka Doncic to the Lakers for 80% off. Unbelievable. Who are you picking? Who are you picking for the West right now? Still OKC?
Yeah, it's got to be OKC.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take a break. Come back with House and Nathan talking Masters. The Bill Simmons Podcast brought to you by FanDuel. It's the final stretch of the NBA season. The playoff picture changing literally by the minute. From 3-pointers to steals to assists, FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. Join FanDuel today. You'll get started with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. How about that? Join FanDuel and visit FanDuel.com/BS to get in on all the NBA play-in tournament action. FanDuel.com/BS. For your shot at $250 in bonus bets, make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. You must be 21 plus and present in select states, or 18 plus and present in DC. First online real money wager, only $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit rg-help.com. All right, taping this 7 o'clock Eastern time, this part of the podcast. Joe House is here. Nathan Hubbard is here from our Fairway Rolling podcast. We've been at the Masters all week. We went to round 1 today. Trying to keep it a little big picture, just because by the time some people hear this, the Masters round 2 will be going. Things change. I'm pretty sure Justin Rose is going to be at -14 in 2 days. He's at -7 now. Scotty's at -4. Why are you making a
never say never? Why are you taking something away from Justin Rose? He could be -14.
I'll give you $100.
100? You can afford more than that, buddy.
Well, whatever.
I'm not.
He's not going to be -14 after 2 days.
It's
Stop
not
it.
likely.
Big picture stuff. First thing, the gallery excitement thing, because we did not have Tiger Woods this time around. And I was trying to think who, and we were able to watch practice rounds on Tuesday. The par 3 was yesterday. These guys were messing around. Nathan and I had a great moment. Well, tell the moment when we stumbled into those guys on the 5th hole yesterday.
On the 5th hole?
Yeah, when it was Rory and...
Right. We had Rory playing with Fleetwood and Rahm. And who was the 4th guy? They were betting.
Shane Lowry.
And Lowry. And they had split into teams, and it was clearly Tommy and Rahm were playing, or Shane and Rahm were playing Tommy and Rory, and they were definitely betting and
having a great old time. We were like, these guys are nice and loose.
Yeah.
But the big thing is Rory, the gallery moves a little differently, and it made me wonder if he now has the conch. As they said in Lord and the Flies, the conch? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the irony and the sadness of what we just watched happen down the stretch today, because you're exactly right, that he has the energy, he has the crowd, and he kind of was the main character coming in to this Masters, playing the best of anyone, 2 wins on American soil for the first time coming into a Masters. And what did we talk about on Tuesday? His problem has been his Thursday score.
Yeah.
Anytime he plays well on Thursday, he's performed well in these majors.
So you think 2 straight bogeys?
Two double bogeys.
2 straight double bogeys down the stretch.
Suboptimal.
House, how did we get here where he's the number 1 gallery guy? Because it was Tiger forever, and if Tiger was here, it would still be Tiger. And Rory, when you see him in person, he's jacked. He's not gigantic. Nice little Irish guy, but the fans fucking love him.
I think 2 things. In the first place, he became the de facto voice of the PGA Tour for all of the processing in professional golf of the rift between the players that left for LIV and the PGA Tour. And he really was the voice of the tour, making arguments on behalf of the tour. He was the front man, not the commissioner of the tour, Rory effing McIlroy. So that is sort of one element of it. He was a prominent face and prominent voice, and he's articulate. He always gives a sincere interview, so there's a likability factor.
So you're going authenticity, which is a big term in the mid-2020s.
They say that.
People think Rory's authentic.
They
Turns out authentic wins.
Yeah. And the other element is this sort of, I don't want to overstate it. It's not tragedy that he can't win another major.
Slightly star-crossed.
Yes.
Slightly.
Yes.
Just enough.
Because he's been super competitive in a handful of majors. There's been this question since the last major he won in 2014. When will he win his next? And he has been super close a handful of times and not able to get across the goal line. So there is that element as well.
Anything to add on that one, Nate?
I think that the last time that we really saw him in a competitive major was at that US Open, and he missed 2 short putts. And he has been doing all this work over these last however many months to get himself mentally to a place where he could overcome that. 14 today, he had a short putt. It was a birdie putt, but he pushed it ever so slightly right, rolled over the cup. Next hole, he doubles. 2 holes later, he doubles, and he finds himself 7 behind. There's no energy that the crowd could give him. He just sapped the energy out of the place.
More terrible Rory putts and shots today, or more meals for you today? What was the bigger number?
Meals, for sure. Way more
you?
meals.
It's such a pleasure to see you not eating for a half hour.
No, Rory putt like whatever Sal dropped in the upstairs bathroom this morning.
Oh my God. We can't talk about that. So Rory's improbably a clear number 1. I feel like Tiger had that spot forever. Mickelson was in there for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's more of a kind of villain. He's also 54 years old.
Well, I'm saying way back.
Oh, yeah, sure.
For sure, Phil.
He had it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a pretty small group of people in general. But I asked you who you think the top 4 is right now for gallery, just watching the way the gallery moves. And when you're at the Masters, especially when the tournament starts, they'll go 2 holes ahead anticipating when the person's coming. They want to get like a good spot so they can get as close as possible. Or you'll have the gallery just following, which is like you said today when Tiger's in the Masters, when he was playing, it was like 2 separate tournaments happening. It was like the gallery following Tiger.
25 deep.
And then everybody else who's also in the tournament.
Right.
So it's interesting to watch. And the number 2 guy on my list, I was pretty surprised by it. It's Bryson.
It is.
Like clearly, unquestionably, and I gotta say, he's edging closer to the Rory spot than I thought. And people, so what is it? Like, let's go through all the reasons here.
It's a massive turnaround from a guy who the last years ago, he came into the Masters, had eaten so poorly, speaking of eating badly, that his body was shutting down and he was getting dizzy and falling over here at Augusta. So
is that you or Bryson?
Both.
Okay.
The
Nathan
is,
today,
yeah.
Bryson 4 years ago.
Bryson learned his lesson and has this interesting narrative arc where he's bounced back and starting really, I mean, House, you mentioned it. It started with his YouTube series where he really, all of the guys who went to live talked about growing the game. Only one guy has actually worked at it and done something different, hasn't he?
Yeah, and it's a combination of him having whatever the instinct was to sort of create a personality on YouTube. Like he's a creator, and it's interesting content. And he does the series is Breaking 50. He started it in the fall of 23. And it was a weird kind of moment for him because he had gone over to live. People were, in two camps still in that 2022, 2023 timeframe. But he's like, you know what? I have this thing I'm going to do. It was the Breaking 50 thing. And it became very popular. Now it has 1.8 million subscribers. But then he went and played excellent golf on the heels of this YouTube thing. He played great at the PGA Championship last year at Valhalla. And Nathan was there on the grounds experiencing the crowd pop, right?
Yeah, he chipped in to end his third round on Saturday, and the place went apeshit. He looked into the camera and did the let's go, like he was a YouTube creator. And so all of the energy on Sunday was around Bryson. He didn't quite catch Xander, but 3 weeks later, he walked into the U.S. Open. I'm telling you, he was the main character there, both for the fans, but also the players were watching him because they felt the energy change in Valhalla. It carried over to Pinehurst #2. And it's out there on the course right now.
But he's not crushing the ball like he did 4 years ago, like as far, right? It's
different kind
just
of
different,
game.
Little bit different game.
He's matured.
Yeah. He's still hitting the piss out of it.
Yeah,
right. But not like we'll never see it again like it was a few years ago. I mean, it's interesting the way you lay it out. It's like it's basically the arc, backlash, re-arc that most influencers and people, on TikTok or YouTube stars or like the people my daughter likes, where it's like, I love this person. Oh, they got in a fight. Oh, they got canceled. No, they're back. And he kind of jammed all that into 4 years because there was it really felt like the backlash had arrived for him in a major way, and now it's gone.
Right before he and Brooks went to live, the biggest storyline in golf was the rift between Bryson and Brooks was bullying Bryson, and there was, a bunch of really negative stuff, negative energy was happening. It was clearly affecting Bryson. And then, fast forward to this moment, he's all the way up here. My hand is very high up. And Brooks is in a curious place.
I had Brooks.
Curious place.
So we have Rory 1, Bryson 2. Well, I'll do 3 and 4 quick, and then we'll talk about the guys who fell off, which includes Brooks. So what's interesting is Spieth is 3rd, and it's Masters specific. I'm not sure if it's every tournament, but one of the great things about the Masters, we were walking the course with a couple of people today who were coming to the Masters for the first time, didn't really know all the history, and we were explaining Spieth and how there are these certain tragic figures of Augusta. And they just carry the skeletons around with them as you see them. And you're just like, oh man, I hope they could break out of this that one time. And, it was Greg Norman forever, 30 years ago. And Spieth's now that guy. We're like, oh man, it'd be so nice if he won one more time. And the gallery does follow him and swell up for him. It's interesting.
Yeah, I looked at the picture from the Champions Dinner where he's there with the green jacket, but he's sort of in the back row and he feels like removed from the rest of the guys. Like he just so badly wants one. And he had one in his hands. I mean, the other guy in that picture is Danny Willett, who has a green jacket because Jordan Spieth coughed up a 5-shot lead on the 12th hole in just an absolute meltdown of putting ball after ball after ball into the water. And so that ghost hangs over him. It's not unlike the Rory arc. It's just that in that moment in time, in 2015, he wins 2 majors. He is being called the golden child by everybody. He's a handsome kid. He's 21 years, right? And so to see him continue to struggle, this place wants him, of all people, I think, to win another green jacket.
And how old is he now? He's like early 30s? Late 20s?
Yeah.
Yes,
and he's got
30s.
kids. And
Yes.
he's coming off of injury, but still compelling. Still, people recall because he's been in our lives for 10 years now.
Yeah.
And when you have that, that meteoric appearance into the scene, and he's charismatic. And that's one of the things with golf. That's why Bryson, resonates. Bryson's charismatic. He understands the sort of entertainment proposition.
Well, he's also big in person, which I think is one of the things that works in the gallery. And that's like the Rory thing, where it goes the other way. We're like, wow, he's not a giant guy. Anyway, Spieth 3 and then Scotty's 4. More because he's just been dominating the decade. But I still don't feel like there's something that he hasn't achieved yet from a Scotty's on 15. We got to go over there. There's something missing, and I don't know what it is.
That's it. Last year, when his statistics were analogous to some of the best Tiger years, people just don't get as enthused about Scotty. And I think that's part of his superpower. Like, he is very even-keeled. He's a man of deep faith. He's a family guy now. He talks about that. And he doesn't talk about much else that's particularly interesting out on the golf course. So you can go watch him. His swing is interesting. He plays interesting, but he's not really a character. And that's part of why he's been so successful and able to win all these tournaments, I think, because he's dispassionate in those moments.
Yeah, Rahm's almost more interesting in person just because you know who he is right away.
The volatility of his game and his temper. That's an attractive kind of.
What does Scotty have to do? Like facial hair? What would you add?
Well, I will say this. I do think like
crazy hair, bleach blonde hair.
He got arrested. It didn't help.
Tattoos.
I've never been to a Masters on a Saturday. I wonder if people, because like he's in.
When he gets closer to the hunt.
He's the odds-on favorite right now. He's plus 190 to win this golf tournament. He opened at plus 460 or 450 to win this golf tournament.
Just being 3 back from the leader.
Man, come on.
His odds already went down.
Yeah.
And the data, I mean, today, this is the thing about Scotty. He's got this floor that he's always going to play well. He is 3rd tee to green this year, which is to say his game off the tee and approach has been awesome. Today it was mediocre, but he was 5th in putting overall. He just finds ways to go get it done. And I watched that. Look, he played with my brother both Saturday and Sunday at the PGA the days after he got arrested.
Yeah.
And on Saturday, there was definitely a lull in the energy. He didn't play great. He'd come off that day where he'd walked in on Friday and gotten arrested. And then he actually put up a good round that day. Saturday, he was just okay. Sunday, heading into the back 9, it's clear he's not going to win. But he and my brother are tied through 10 holes. They're both 3 under at that point. Scotty puts the pedal down, shoots 5 under on the back, and finishes top 10. And we get in the clubhouse. My brother turns to me and goes, "That's why he's the number 1 player in the world. He just has a floor that is so high and a button. He's just got a go button. And when he hits it, he's the best in the world."
What about Auberg?
Well, he's the
How
new
are we feeling
kid.
about him?
He's the new
second last year.
Yeah.
-4 today. He passes the in-person test.
He is
looks
a
like
striking
fucking
presence.
badass.
Yeah.
I do think he was helped also by the TGL. The TGL helped us learn a bit more about some of these guys, and he was dominant in some of his appearances on that. Like if you tuned in on a February Tuesday night, you're like, let me just see what the thing is about, and you happen to catch his team, whichever, it's like one of the California teams. Was it the Bay? I don't remember. But he was noticeable, distinct, separated himself from other people from how well he played.
Yeah, we've been told this guy's a Swedish golf robot since he came out of college just a couple years ago.
Right.
And now he's out there playing the part. And we would have said coming into this tournament after a second place finish last year, this is the guy. It's just that he got sick after winning at Torrey Pines, and he has not looked the same. So,
well, no, he got sick at the Farmers. And then won at Torrey Pines after.
Right.
Yeah.
But he's been up and down. He missed two cuts coming into this Masters.
We just didn't know how it was going to play out.
Right.
Today, he's first tee to green. He was mid in putting, only 40th. So that should scare the crap out of everybody as we head into the weekend. Because if he starts putting better on these greens after having been in the pressure situation last year, maybe he is that golf robot and can go get it done.
So he's honorable mention, and then Rahm's honorable mention. The falling off list It's been interesting. We've been coming since 2018. I think this is our fourth time in the last 7 years. And the Brooks thing has definitely shifted. And it's just not an event anymore when he's like, oh, here comes Brooks. Like, whatever.
I feel like it's because he's always mailed it in. That's been his reputation, is that he just kind of mails it in until the majors. And so we built up this lore around him that he's going to show up and win. But when that stops after that 23 PGA championship and it goes away, then he's just a guy.
He might be just a guy. He has one top 20 since winning that PGA championship in a major in 2023. And nobody's watching him on Live, and he's not out there kicking ass on Live. So who is he? Like, what's the compelling reason to go like, oh, I want to go watch Brooks? What? So you can see him shoot 2 over? What did he end up today?
Yes, there.
Okay, right. So great.
And DJ was the other one who had that going for a few years.
Oh, DJ. That makes me sad. He's so much talent. And
Mickelson's
he was one of the
old.
most consistent guys on tour. He won a PGA Tour event every year for like 15 years. He got over the hump with his U.S. Open win in terms of majors at Oakmont. Incredible. Validated that with a dominant Masters win
in the fall.
In the COVID year, November of 2020. Super weird, but he went out and kicked everybody's ass. And then, they waved a check at him, and homie is like, I'm going to go fishing. Is it all right if I go fishing? I'm going to go fishing.
There's a little Fred Couples enjoyment that you could feel, and he
More
played
than a
well today
little.
too, but he's become the new old guy.
Yes.
It was Watson for a while. It was Nicholas before him.
And
it feels like now it's Fred Couples.
It helps that he's got Nance's blessing. So Nance, every single round announces how Freddie did. And today he holed out on 14 with a hybrid. He chipped in on the front. So like that, he was bringing energy to the crowd. We could hear it out there.
One thing I want to do quick was the golfer of the decade, because we're halfway through. So Scotty has the most PGA Tour wins, 13. Rory's got 11. Rahm's got 8. Scotty, Bryson, Xander, and Rahm both have 2 majors each. So it's in progress, but Scotty has a chance over these next couple majors to basically take the lead. So I went back and I was trying to figure out, could you figure this out for each decade? And it's hard.
Yeah,
there's
2010 to 2020 especially is hard.
Yeah, because Rory had 18 PGA Tour wins and 4 majors. Brooks had 4 majors. So Rory, technically from the stats, Spieth was 11-3. It's Rory, but I don't think anybody's like 2010s. I think of Rory first.
Well, it's a split decade. Rory owned 10 to 14, and Brooks owned 15 to 20.
Which is a little what the 90s were like too. The 2000s, Tiger won 59 times and he won 12 majors. So he dominated that. The 90s are a mess. They're a little like the 2010s. Nick Price had the most wins, 16. He had 3 majors. It was all kind of clumped together same way. And then Tiger kind of dominated the last couple years there. He ended up with 15 wins and 2 majors in like 3 years.
97 Augusta was when
so
it
it's a little,
started.
that one was a little split. The 80s is Watson. He was 19-5, pretty clear. And then 70s was Jack, 38-8. And then the 60s was the nice little Palmer-Nicklaus battle.
Wonderful.
43 for Palmer, 30 for Nicklaus. PGA Tour wins. 7 majors for Nicklaus, 6 for Palmer. So it wasn't, I thought it would be easier to go through the decades. Like, oh, that was that guy's decade. And it's kind of not. I think with this decade, though, Scotty could take it, because when he started coming up, it was the beginning. Sometimes you need luck with this stuff. And now it feels like he's positioned the best.
The thing I think we need to see from Scotty, he needs to win a major that's not the Masters.
Yeah.
That's what will really, I think, advance his cause. I mean, the year that he had last year in 2024 was so Tiger-esque, and we fought each other, all season long. Do we dare say Tiger's name in the context of what? I mean, the man won the gold medal, which is epping awesome.
Yeah.
And it really meant a lot to him. He had the wins on tour. He won the tour championship. He had the Masters. He came. He had a moment where there was like the single most prominent thing that occurred for the PGA for all of professional golf last year was him getting arrested at the gate of a major championship as the number 1 ranked player in the world because the cop didn't know who the hell he was. So there is it's a very interesting arc where we're ready to anoint him. I would like that to happen. tiny bit more charisma. I mean, the menu that he served for the Champions Dinner this week, Chang talked about it. It was the least expensive menu of any menu that any champion coming in had offered up over the last decade, because it was like sliders,
redfish and chili.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right down the middle.
Fuzzy Zower was excited about it.
But we have been looking to anoint somebody since Tiger. And in a lot of ways, that's been the problem with golf. We got also used to having a guy, a Jordan, a LeBron in the sport. And in the absence of it, you just pointed it out. It was hard to actually find the guy. Now for the last 10 plus years, as Tiger's been hurt and out. So we keep trying to see if that's going to happen. It's not. And I think that's probably part of the reason why there's been a struggle to get more attention, more eyeballs on golf. I think Bryson winning the Masters could actually catapult him into that position ahead of Rory, even in this moment.
I agree with this, because Bryson now, like 2 million subscribers to his YouTube thing, and he gets A+ list people to come do Breaking 50 with him.
Who could have guessed?
Beefy Bryson.
Unbelievable stuff.
Everybody loves a comeback.
Beefy Bryson and Beefy Nathan. When do we eat again? Do we eat for the next podcast segment?
No, I'm going to need
Nathan and I are both going on a diet after this week.
Ozempic Nathan's going to show up for the PGA.
He was housing Bojangles last night, dipping in a ranch, eating the rice thing Chang made late.
In the morning.
I'm feeling great.
In the morning. An amazing beef short rib and kimchi fried rice by Chef Chang at 1:30 in the morning. Unbelievable.
Come back from a party and we're kind of hungry, and Chang's just there making stuff.
He's like,
Chang's the true hero. He's a bigger hero than Scotty Scheffler.
The number one. He owns Augusta.
Yep. So this is our 4th Masters together?
At least, yes.
Anything different? Anything better, worse? Because I think the thing that always strikes me is that I get the exact same feelings, vibes every time.
Well, here's the thing. It's the first without Tiger, which is why we began this whole segment. I mean, the thing that is a galvanizing, where is he on the golf course when the tournament starts? And let's go see what we can catch. I mean, the most noteworthy thing from 2 years ago was the birdie that we saw with our own 2 eyes on Thursday on the 16th hole. Yeah. And that beautiful amphitheater that surrounds 16 and the roar. He finished the first round at 1 under, top 10 on the leaderboard, was able to continue his made cut streak, and we were there to witness. Like that was in my memory banks, my sporting experiences. I have a lot of great ones. It will always be there. Tiger on 16, at the sort of end of his career, still rocking it at the Masters.
What about the par 3 people picking up their kids?
That's you. You'll forever hold that
against
about
the par 3
Russell Henley.
Kids?
He'll forever hold that against Russell Henley.
This is an old guy thing for me. I don't know how we started involving young kids into professional sports. Everyone has kids. Congratulations, you had a kid.
Poppy McElroy made a putt that was really like inconceivable.
We have kids now taking shots on the par 3. These people that are waiting. Everyone's like, here are my kids.
Whiffing it into the water. They're not even good.
No, here are my 4 kids that are going to, it's like, I actually wonder, did anybody who had their kids in the par 3 yesterday play well today?
No,
I bet Justin Rose didn't have his kids out there. Maybe he did.
Yeah, Bryson doesn't have kids. That's
right. It seemed like when you have little kids like that, and we've all had little kids, you're just constantly worried they're going to just do something stupid. Like when they're 6, 5, 7, and you have them out in a group of public people, like I would have been terrified of Ben. Ben would have run into the freaking water and jumped in.
The only good moment for kids on that par 3 contest ever, I think, is when Jack Nicklaus had his grandson take a tee shot and he made a hole in one. But at that point, he was a grown man. So
that's the thing. If it's Jack Nicklaus, you can do whatever you want with your kids.
This is your thing. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Par 3 is a fun thing.
I just wanted something to be grumpy about. I love the Masters. Yeah, less kids. Right. I didn't fly here to see other people's kids.
Yeah, how about this? Don't go. You don't have to go to the par 3.
Yeah. Well, we did it. We only went. We only saw like 1 hole.
To be fair, we didn't.
Yeah.
There we go.
But we did see Butler Cabin.
We did see Butler Cabin. Scott Van Pelt. Give that man a kiss on the top
That
of
was
his
great.
head, except he's too tall.
All right, so you guys, when are you doing the next Fairway Rolling?
Sunday night recap. We will be, plausibly live for a reaction.
You should bring your kids in to chip into the podcast. It'll be like the part 3.
Definitely not doing that.
You can lift your kids up during the pod.
Yeah. We'll have our last meal, and then I'm gonna retire. I gotta hang up the food.
You know what's funny though? You're gonna be doing that at the same time your son is watching Clippers Warriors for playoff position, and his head might explode. You might be cleaning up shrapnel of his head.
Well, that'll be an interesting way to bring him into the pod then.
Is it? And are you gonna be able to get Clipper tickets because you cowered it out and didn't get the?
Thank you for holding this over my head. The only person who complains more about that than my son is you.
That's good. I'm going to egg him on. That's part of my job. I convinced Chang's wife to have another kid. I'm just...
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, it's all about the kids. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
All right. Taping this part of the podcast with David Chang, Cousin Sal, James, Baby Doll Dixon, one of the biggest celebrities here at the Masters this week. Sal, what were the highlights other than we... So let me set the scene. You don't have your phone at the Masters. And if you're with a group of people, the goal is don't get separated from the people. It's the worst thing you can do because you have no way of contacting them. So you take it from here, Sal.
Yeah, and it was looking like back in 1992, all my buddies, we went to Vegas and none of us had a phone and we were on top of the world. And then we all lost each other and we were like a pissed off mood and didn't talk to each other on the way back. And that's kind of how it was. You don't have a phone, you don't have anything, and you have Baby Doll, who is about 65 minutes late in estimating where he's going to be at all times.
So we picked a spot and we're like, we're going to be there 3:00 and then we're going to move. And you come back, you meet us with House, and it's me and Chang and Nathan.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have Baby Doll.
No.
And I immediately panic because I'm like, this is it. This is now a kidnapping movie. We might never see him again. We've turned in our phones, so we have no way. He doesn't have a phone. His phone's with my phone. And it's just a complete mess. And how late were you, baby? And when did you actually show up?
Let's see.
And why did you feel like you had to buy more stuff?
He was shopping. Yeah.
You spent almost $5,000 on stuff this trip, right?
I think a little more now, but after the last
one.
After the pro shop at the Masters, which was thank you, Chang, for
we're not talking about that. So,
but yes, I would say I was an hour late. I actually went before you guys were supposed to leave. In my
you were an hour late after we begged you not to be 1 minute late.
Fair enough. I was stopped by many people I knew, and I just got distracted. And it was a confluence of errors, including the women who administer the phones.
Yeah.
First telling me that Mr. Simmons took, because we checked our phones together.
Yeah.
Took all the phones.
Right.
So I walked to the parking lot and you guys were gone. And I borrowed one of the parking attendants'
Should we have
phones.
just left them?
Yeah. And I think it was like you had no problem leaving him. And House and I felt a little bad. Like, oh, this is our child acting up. Why is he kicking everyone in the shins? We should stay back and have a talk with him, or at least make sure that he has a ride back because he doesn't have a phone and everything like that. But you have to understand, like with him, I'm going to date myself here. This is like the toy when he's there. He is just shopping and nonstop shopping. He could shop like for hours and hours. And like, it's such so conflicting because you want to walk and you want to go. Right. You're breaking Roger Bannister's 4-minute mile.
I'd like to get my steps in and see the course.
You want to go. You're not even really looking
like,
at the course. You're checking out your sketches and all the way up. And baby's stopping every 25 feet. Like, yeah, this is where Seve Ballesteros bailed himself out on 14. And, you know.
I think it's important. We got to back this up for those that haven't been to the Masters. What kind of rules that we're talking about? Protocol. It's not just a cell phone. There's no running. There's no talking loudly. These are all things that he's broken. There's no smoking in undesignated areas. Broke that rule. There's no acts of, I won't say physical violence, but you can't like do things that
you have to be on your best behavior.
You
basically,
be like your
that's
grandparents' house.
Also a problem for Sal.
One step up from church.
So like every rule that the Masters has, Baby Doll broke.
Well, then the other thing that happened today was more your fault, cuz.
How was this my fault?
I mean, I almost got tasered.
Well, let's see if we're talking
Baby,
about the right.
we were able to get, we were able to get access to this special pro shop that's like for members only because somebody slipped us a badge. So a couple of us went in and see if there's anything.
The badge. We earned
we earned the badge.
Yes.
Yeah, you did TV today for ESPN.
Hell
I wasn't invited. But Baby comes out with another bag of stuff. And what happens next, Chang?
We're trying to be on our best behavior, but clearly Cousin Sal's incapable of that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if people understand the long history you have of playing practical jokes and hijinks on Baby Doll.
Yeah.
Like I've heard stories of you throwing a suitcase out the window, luggage out of buildings.
Yeah, I want to get into that. But in this case, it was a pretty mild-mannered one. You just took the bag and you whipped it into a roped-off area.
Of all the new purchases that Baby Doll just bought. Yeah. And you just threw it.
Like, oh, let me see that. Yeah. And I toss it over, what would it be, like 2 or 3 rows of ropes?
To a place where there was a suddenly pissed off security guard wondering why that happened.
Fully restricted area.
And then multiple people came over.
No. He threw it over the head of the security guard.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's what happened.
So then Baby's trying to get the bag back. They're deciding whether they want to kick us out or not. Mm-hmm. And Sal thinks this is all hilarious.
As I said when we were there, it was a close second to Cousin Sal shoving me very, very violently into the Rose Garden at the White House.
Right.
And I said, I may be the only guy in the history of the White House who's been shoved into bodily thrown into the Rose Garden.
So this was like a 2 out of 10 for things you did to
this
Baby.
was nothing. I mean, Secret Service pulled out their weapons. I was picking thorns out of my ass.
Did they really pull out their weapons?
They literally drew weapons.
They converged. Yeah.
They converged. It was insane.
Hands on. Yeah, it was good times.
Listen,
but you know Obama though. You could have said like Barack.
Yeah, I could have
Baby
said,
Doll.
Baby, you know me, Mr. President. Come on.
Bears Club.
Don't throw me out. Vineyard Golf. Come on, baby.
Well, the number one thing I ever saw you do to Baby Doll was Jimmy's wedding.
Oh.
When which was a great weekend and just a really lovely night, and everybody had a great time. And near the end, we're all talking. We're in the corner of wherever the giant reception is. And we're talking. I think you're smoking.
Of course.
And they're bringing the cake out. And it's the 3 of us and Lewis and I think Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
And they're bringing this giant cake out. And they're walking by us. And we see the cake. And you just know from knowing the cuz for 15 years.
More than that.
You put it together. You put it together. Cake, Sal.
Yes.
And Sal's watching the cake.
Tongue in cheek.
Sal's tongue went to the side of his mouth.
Yes.
And you put it together and you just jumped sideways right as Sal was about. It was one of the greatest athletic moves I've ever seen.
It was like those drills that at the NFL, draft camps.
Like the cones?
There's cones, the side to side.
Should be a combine event.
Sideways.
It was incredibly
as Sal
athletic.
was about to try to push you. And then Jimmy admitted after it would have been worth it. Even if you ruined the cake, the story would have been better.
Wish I had known before.
It's one of the great what ifs in wedding history.
I did a Jedi mind trick. I didn't even touch you that time.
No. It was actually, I was very proud of myself.
Yeah. You almost fell over. You jumped so violently to the left.
It was so, for me at this stage of my life, at that stage, athletic. I've never seen Louis K laugh harder in the 25 years I've known him. Right. He loved it.
If Baby had blown out his Achilles jumping sideways, would that have made it funnier or less funny?
No, much funnier.
Way funnier for Sal.
One more. Let me just throw one more. We're in Atlanta once. We're in a car. We get picked up by these executives. Jimmy's going there to get a Coca-Cola commercial, we hope. And we're going to tour the factory and everything else. And we get picked up by these guys. And I'm in the back seat with Baby, who's bragging about his sunglasses. Yeah, these are my $300 sunglasses. I couldn't bring my $500 sunglasses because you couldn't, I want to put that through the machine. But these are $300. I have like 4 or 5 of these. Blah, 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 blah. And then I had enough of the sun. I'm like, oh, let me see. Like, what the hell am I going to do when I see it? I take a look and it had a sunroof, which was open. And I Michael Jordan, just perfect, right through the sunroof, outside into traffic. He's like, you motherfucker, you did that. He didn't get the commercial.
You didn't get it?
Well, that same day was Coca-Cola, which is also a pretty good story.
Right. He's in the boardroom. These guys, big PowerPoint presentation, try to woo Jimmy. They're in suits and everything. And baby is always on the messed up time. Although Atlanta should be on the same
That was
time
East
as
Coast.
New York.
But I think I flew from LA with you guys. But anyway.
Fell asleep during the movie and during the meeting. And I take a bottle cap and I said, baby. And I toss that, you hit you. And you're like Spicoli and Fast. I'm like, you dick. And nobody knew how to react.
I have to set that up a little bit.
Go ahead.
Getting into the Coca-Cola headquarters in Atlanta, it's
a big deal.
Fort Knox. There's 3 layers of security.
Yeah.
It's like a big deal to be there. And I will give you an incredible amount of credit. We were sitting on opposite ends of a giant conference table. And, only his superpower can kick in those moments.
Yeah.
And it was a 25, 30 foot winging of a bottle cap, and it hit me square between the eyes. I mean, literally right between the eyes. And we stopped the meeting. We literally start arguing in the meeting. These Coca-Cola people were like, these people are insane. What is this? It was really insane. It was really crazy. But anyway.
When do you think the Cuz's peak of fucking with you? What was the peak year? If he was an athlete, what would you say? Early 2000s?
Yeah, I'd say the early aughts, as they say.
Yeah.
Early
So like
2000s.
first year of Jimmy's show?
Yeah.
Somewhere in there?
Yeah, somewhere in the 2002 to 2008 range, I would guess.
Well, I remember when I started working for Jimmy's show, and you were so legendary for fucking with everybody. And then we went to San Diego for that Super Bowl thing. And I stayed in a room with you, and people were like, you're staying in a room with Sal?
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, what's the problem? They're like, oh, good luck. Don't fall asleep. And
yeah.
And then by the time we went to bed that night, I was sufficiently nervous. It was like I was in like Shawshank waiting for fucking Boggs to come get me. I didn't know what was going to happen, but you left me alone because I think I was the new
I had
guy.
my sights on
You
Baby
probably
and
didn't
others.
think about it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I don't know if people realize, like they're longtime listeners, but this relationship is real. Like your impersonation, like I haven't spent this much time with Baby Doll in my life, but everything you've done over the years, I've heard thousands of impersonations. They're very accurate.
It really is. It's your
and
magnum
you guys have
opus.
this weird odd couple relationship. It's amazing.
I honestly, I love Sal. I love him.
It's like funeral? What is going on?
No, but I love him.
That's why it's so sad he's dying.
It's just like, it's so hard for me to get mad at him because I genuinely love him. And everybody does, obviously. And that's why he has the ability to terrorize people and get away with it. That plus he's got like superhuman strength.
No. Come on.
That kicks in when he needs it to.
Don't be
but
afraid.
No,
Fight
I'm not
back.
afraid.
Fight
I
back.
just know you could like bend me into a pretzel. But other than that, we've had, the stories are, I was leaving to catch a red eye. I had my bags packed and we taped Jimmy Kimmel Live. I have my luggage there. And somehow somebody catered in Bay City.
It was a 9-year anniversary of the show.
9-year
So it was a big
anniversary.
deal,
So that's when it was. He, for whatever insane reason, he decides to take the tray of meatballs and red sauce and just dump it over my head violently. I was covered. We have pictures of that.
Yeah.
It was on the ceiling. I'm not kidding. The sauce was on the ceiling, and I'm like leaving in 20 minutes to go to. You know what I mean? If I didn't kill you then, when would I have done it?
I knew it was a bad idea, but it would be good for this. I just instinctively.
But this is the side, like people know Sal on my podcast from Guest Alliance, and we've been together forever, but they don't know this other side of Sal as much.
Right.
I think the best Sal story is the security camera on JKL in the outside Jimmy's office when our friend Brad started choking on a sandwich, which he would choke from time to time because he doesn't have all his teeth.
Yeah.
But he started choking and he waved over. It was like
our friend Scott.
Scott comes over and starts performing the high book on Brad, who's choking to death. And instead of being concerned, you could see Sal in the back of the footage running over, grabbing his phone and videotaping Brad choking to death instead of helping Brad.
Two things I don't know.
It's the most perfect security camera clip I've ever seen.
I didn't know the Heimlich, and I didn't know if these security guards were catching it. So I had to document it for myself. But
If you knew you had the camera, maybe
Right.
you still would have filmed
But
it.
Brad lived. He lived.
Yeah, he
right?
did. He lived.
Okay, yeah.
We think
It's the
you are the
funniest.
most twisted bastard.
Yeah.
Really, you
Have
are.
you tortured Chang, or are you still feeling
No,
him
he's
out?
afraid.
I'm afraid. I give him as much respect as I can because I live in a constant state of fear that
Yeah.
I'm going to get fucked with to some degree because I've seen it. I don't want to be on the receiving end. So
If
I treat you with
You're
as much
nicer
respect as
now.
possible.
You're
Yeah.
older. You're a nicer guy now.
But in Chang's case, he's already tortured. I mean, can you find a more tortured man?
It is
He's
true.
not like bragging about shit like baby. And like, I'll
It
let
is
him
true.
alone. Yeah. He could,
Chang's just a mess.
This is true.
he could also poison any meal he wants.
This is also
Oh,
true.
good point.
Well, I didn't even think of that.
I know. I told him I was going to do that if he fucked with me yesterday.
Well, Chang cooked dinner last night.
Oh.
We had some FanDuel people over, some other people. It was very fun. And for some reason, Baby decided to give a toast.
I don't know why I did
beginning,
it simultaneously. I thought that was a nice touch.
It was a nice
no?
toast.
Yeah.
Baby was very social for about an hour and a half,
Yeah.
and then disappeared to make a 1.5 hour business call at 9:00, and was just gone the rest of the night. And then claimed, "I was very social.
I was.
I talked to everybody." He
I
literally
did.
missed
Ask any of them that
the
were
second
here.
half of the dinner. You were on a call.
Did Baby Doll talk? I think I literally spoke to every person at that.
Who has a 9:00 ET business call?
Baby Doll, I got business to do. I got deals
You
to
had a
close.
dinner. It's like we flew
And it was
out here
the-
to like
the big-
schmooze people, and
Right.
the
we
big
were just
part
gone.
of it was your cousin, you know?
Me? I think you read Jon Stewart a bedtime story every
How
night. I think
dare
that's what
you.
goes on. Yeah.
How dare
No, but you know, as you said it, it's kind of genius. He gives the toast to give the impression that he's there for
Right.
most of the night, knowing that he's going to bounce 20, 30 minutes later.
Fair enough. That
Yeah.
was not why I did it, but it worked out that way.
You said nice things about Chang.
Of course.
Right.
He's the man.
And then he put me in a weird, awkward position when he complimented a colleague of ours, for a friend of ours that works at a network, and we love him very much. And you didn't know who he was, and then I've never felt this way before. He's like, you don't know this, but David was singing your praises.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it was
yeah.
going on and on and on about all the compliments I was talking about this guy. And I sort of felt weird.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do.
That's your own psychosis, Baby Doll.
Yeah.
That's not my problem. That's yours.
That was a baby doll move.
By the way, not only did I do you a solid, because he said, wow, he said that. I said, yes, of course he did. I
And
said,
you're like, "Damn, he never says anything nice
Yeah,
about anybody.
right. He was like, really? Wow, that's really nice to hear.
It was very sweet.
So, yeah, you shouldn't be. And I, yeah.
Part of the secret, we've known Baby for a while. You've known him longer than me, but part of his secret is compliments are currency.
Right.
That's what he does.
You know
He
what?
always
You're
figures out a nice way to be like just hanging out with Chang one day, be like, it's just amazing everything you've accomplished.
That's right.
I was talking to somebody, he probably didn't talk to anybody. I
Right.
was talking to somebody the other day about just how incredible your journey's been. And it's just awesome to see, baby. Great job, baby.
Yeah.
Thank you, baby.
And then you feel great and you're like, you know who I love? Baby doll.
I'm
Yeah.
a businessman.
Yeah. Where did you learn this? Like, honestly.
I don't like violence. Blood is a big expense. You know what I mean? So I go the opposite way. Salazzo, Godfather.
Well,
anyway, so, but no, seriously, I meant what I said, and by the way, you were right. Josh was a hell of a nice guy.
Whoa. No names. Come on.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
the
not even the
first
right name.
Yeah.
Don't-
He unintentionally used the pseudonym.
Wrong name.
Is that wrong? Don't make your call.
Yeah.
Go ahead, get
Josh
out of
was a hell of a guy, though.
Wrong Josh. Sorry. That's
I love-
hilarious.
One of the other things I love with
That's
Baby,
why I call people Baby Doll. There you go.
well, at the Masters, when you run into competitors,
I liked a lot of those guys that I met today.
but they
Yeah.
leave and then you
I
one
didn't say
person, then they
anything.
leave. And I don't know, Sal.
Yeah, last night we had an incident where we ran into an agent that we both know, and he was, I don't want to say, but he's a little sloppy, and it was like, all right, this is going to be a 2-minute conversation. We know how, let's just be done in 2 minutes. And he's like, and then he's introducing Baby to someone else. He's like, this is James Baby Doll Dixon. He manages Jon Stewart and John Oliver. He doesn't manage John Oliver, but Baby wants this conversation over so fast, doesn't even correct him, right? But he locks
Yeah.
eyes with me like, all right, I'll let him go. 30 seconds later, he's telling this guy, not only that, but Baby doll is a member of 4 golf clubs, pretty prestigious. He's like, excuse me, 4, 9. He's all right that it gets out that he manages John Oliver or something, but heaven forbid.
You can't get country clubs and cars, bro.
Yeah. Absolutely not. I have my priorities.
So we're up to 9? That's the number? You got rid of a couple.
I think so. I'd have to do the math.
It's ridiculous.
Do you belong to more or less than former President Barack Obama?
I'm going to go with more. Right? How many?
Do you think is he paying for these country clubs? You think?
I think I don't think so.
You think
I don't know
do
that.
you think country clubs charge
They
Obama?
shouldn't. I mean, he served our country, so they should be honored to have him as a member, right? They should waive the initiation and have him just
I'm
pay
sure they're
dues.
delighted to have him,
Absolutely. So
as opposed to having you
I'm
smoking all over the
I'm a
course.
dues-paying member.
That's a lot of dues. How much is that? Is that
Yeah,
like
that
$1
is a
million?
lot of dues, baby. He claims it's. I feel like you
don't.
write it off. Like, what do you do?
No, I don't write it off. No.
Will you teach him, Chang, about like charity and stuff like that he can put his money to other places? Like, really?
What's the point of having 9 country club memberships?
I just love it. I love being able to go to different clubs and different
You just want to be able to
states.
snap your fingers. If I'm in Florida, I know I
Correct.
could just go. I don't have to make a call. I don't have to.
Correct. I'm a country club hoarder.
Can you sell the memberships?
No.
But you get money back when what happens then?
Some of them and some not.
So
It
you just have to
depends
die.
on their arrangement with the members, but I don't plan on ever doing that
Good
unless
for you.
Because today we watched him have a long emotional reunion with somebody from an old country club that he no longer belongs to.
Yeah, that one I left. That was one on Long Island. I upgraded, so I didn't need that one.
One of your country clubs has Obama in the club.
Yes,
Have you played with Obama?
I did not play with him. No, I asked him when we were going to play, but I have not golfed with him.
It feels like he played with him because he followed him on every hole and yelled words of
Barack!
encouragement. Yeah.
Oh, Mr. President.
You call him Mr. President.
Absolutely. I wouldn't call him
You don't
Barack.
first name? Because
Unless he said to me, call me Barack, I would never call him Barack.
Who do you know better, Rory McIlroy or Barack Obama?
Yeah.
Do you call Barack Barry? That's how well you know him?
Of
No,
course
nobody
not.
calls it.
Of course not.
This is another segment I wanted to do. This reminds me, last time we talked about greatest celebrity smokers that you've had cigarettes with. We wanted to do blank canvas. If you could have a cigarette, top 3 people you would want to have a cigarette with that you haven't had a cigarette with. Is Obama in the top 3? Like you're at the Vineyard Country Club. You see him out there, or maybe he sees you out there, and
I'm going to say yes.
so he'd be in top 3.
Why not? I mean, yes.
All right, who else? Anybody?
Do you mean smokers or non-smokers? It doesn't matter. Because
I mean, it has to be a realistic
He
smoking.
was at one time anyway a light closet smoker, as I understand it.
Oh, I don't even think it was really a closet smoker.
no,
I think
he
he
was
was-
smoking.
I think he was in the Rose Garden pinching butts.
Got it. Hey, I would be too if I was.
Who else?
Around
though?
the
Anybody?
country.
Is there anybody you really? I mean, Sinatra would have been amazing.
Oh my God, that would have been amazing.
Johnny Carson.
Oh, exactly. By the way, Johnny Carson,
Why are you letting him make your list?
one of maybe the top person in show business. You know how I would say I've met everybody
Yeah.
that I never met.
Really?
And based on where my career went, he would have been number 1 on the list in the late night world of icons.
Johnny. You remember me, Johnny? Yeah, Carson would be good.
That
Those
would have been
old
good. And
70s
he was a
Carson shows. He's
smoker.
smoking on the show.
Oh, it's the
I'm
best.
trying to
So
think
did
when you
Merv
would have
Griffin.
crossed. You had Ray Romano when he was on, right?
You know what? I don't know.
Oh, all right.
I
Yeah,
feel like
probably. When
I
did
feel like
Carson
babies-
retire? 95?
92.
No, 92.
92? Everybody Loves Raymond probably had not premiered yet, so I don't know.
I feel like Baby's had cigarettes probably with all the best possible people to have a cigarette with, right?
Well, I
So
had.
there's not a lot of smokers
I'll
left.
tell you who I smoked.
I mean, you had 3 with Chang last night. It's a violent coughing
You're up
this
there,
morning.
baby.
I was violently coughing this morning.
But it was more for you, like I mean, it's a Mount Rushmore cigarette for you.
It's very true. I was
You
just
had to do
emulating
it.
my hero right here, and I think it's a good story today. I didn't realize I was talking to almost a rival agent of yours, and he confided to me because I didn't know who he was. I'd love to smoke a dart with Baby Doll one day.
This literally happened.
And I was like,
so wild.
well, you know
to
what?
me.
He's right over there in that rocking chair. Why don't you knock yourself out? And
Yeah, he went over,
See,
pulled out of Parliament, immediately got heckled by Baby.
yes.
Oh, yeah.
It was Parliament.
Parliament.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baby didn't like
Come
that.
on now. You're going to smoke. I mean, those
Yeah,
filters alone
right.
are not.
It's like AA baseball for cigarettes.
now.
and doing parliaments.
But you reminded me of something. Now I can't think of it about the smoking. Wait, what were we just talking about? Anyway.
this agent that was really an honor. It
Before
was-
that. Before that. But anyway.
We were smoking a lot of butts with a lot of people the past week,
Yes.
so it's been an honor.
So
The honor was mine.
what's the greatest single out of nowhere cigarette you've had with somebody?
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Thank you. I assume we're all huge Game of Thrones fans.
Oh, this is good.
Which one do you think
yeah.
it is, guys?
Oh, can we guess?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, let's guess.
Peter
Go ahead.
Dinklage.
Wait, let's see. Peter Dinklage would have been a good one.
Might still be.
Queen Cersei?
Nope.
Jon Snow.
Boom.
You had a cigarette with Jon Snow.
Cigarette. I exchanged numbers with him because I smoked 2 Emmys in a row with him. He was one of the greatest guys I've ever hung out with, and that was I couldn't believe I was smoking with Jon Snow.
I can't believe the way you defended the North. That was fucking awesome. Let's have a smoke. Let's celebrate.
I remember at Jimmy's wedding, we were out where the food trucks were and the valets, the three of us,
Yes.
for an hour and a half, just smoking and watching the people come by. And then Sal just started trouble, which I won't talk about. But we had,
Right.
There's a lot of
but it was
we
like an
can't
hour.
tell.
Then my wife, both of our wives were like, where
The hell
where
have
are
you
our
been?
guys? And we were out
But-
with Baby.
But Kid Harington was definitely up there. That, in fact, that's what.
I mean, honestly,
that's
this is
why I hung out with him. If I was a non-smoker, I never would have got to hang
Yeah,
out with him.
you
He
got
was
lucky.
such a great guy. Really, it was so fun.
this could lead to a Kid Harington resurgence.
You never know. This is it.
I mean,
But he's not. He's short, right?
Yeah, he's like my height.
It's good. It's a good matchup.
That's
Good
why you
pairing.
liked him so much.
Tale of the tape. 1,700 cigarettes a day.
What was
5'7"?
the? I can't even remember. What was the little the city that guarded the wall?
I don't remember.
Sounds like you need to watch Game of Thrones again.
I do.
might need to
God,
bone
I used
up
to
on
know
some
that
of
like
these
the back
facts.
of my hand. Anyway, the Night Watch. That's what it was.
There was a
Anyway.
time, speaking of smokers, I don't care. If you want to cut this, that's fine. But Baby, you know how he brags about knowing people. We saw it with Rory McIlroy. Rory didn't pay attention, didn't at all, didn't give him the time of day. This will happen. Oh, Baby claims to know people. He doesn't know people. Oh, Sean Penn is on the show, Jimmy. I have to meet him. I'm going to go see him
Oh
during
yeah,
your monologue. And, and then he goes on to tell stories about his relationship with Sean. Maybe they did nefarious things. Maybe he was smoking more than cigarettes back in the day. He tells me the story or whatever. So Baby's like, all right, I'm going to go see Sean. And I'm like, I'm fucking going with you. No doubt about
I
it.
need to see that.
So I go in there and he's like, Baby, remember me from, where would you have known him even? What
Midnight.
in the early
Midnight.
90s.
Yeah.
in the early 90s, Baby doll, we did this, we drove here, we went this
Yes.
on this gig. Okay. Oh, come on, Baby. And then he's like you're biding your time here because he's not being forthcoming with whatever. I'm like, come on, you smoked whatever with Baby back in 1990. You don't remember? And then publicist shoots up like, get out of here. You two get out of here now.
Publicist went
And he's
nuts.
like, you know me, baby. You know me. His last words were, you know me, baby.
But I think the line of the week, which I've enjoyed so much, is no matter what's gone on, Sal's like, listen, we're not looking for any trouble, okay?
Right, yeah, dude.
It's really great. It
Anyone
works every
asking.
time.
Yeah,
People
it is
love it.
good.
About 800 important people guarding whatever or leading you through to somewhere ever. And
Yeah.
so It's a nice way to F with people.
It's
Well, we
really
had
great.
after the Tuesday pod, we had some people say Baby should host a smoking podcast for the Ringer.
Yeah. How
Where
would
you
that go?
just-
What would that look like?
I don't know. I mean, you're the artist.
Maybe you were so
Maybe
recognized.
you have like video podcasts are becoming more and more popular. Maybe it's
Well,
one
one thing
smoke
for
with Baby.
sure, what would have to happen is
It's like the
it's like hot wings.
hot wings,
Whoever comes in
Hot ones.
must smoke.
hot
Yeah.
ones.
If you're
course.
in the room, you're smoking.
Of course.
The entire
Multiple
time.
cigarettes.
Yes, the entire time.
First guest Chappelle.
Oh, that would be.
I love
That'd be
this
awesome.
idea for a show. This is genius.
Would you
baby.
do
It
it?
is.
Baby becomes talent out of nowhere.
All from my crazy habit,
Well, it's
my terrible addiction.
you're gonna need some source of income once your guys start retiring from TV. What are you gonna do?
I was going to say,
I got to afford cigarettes. They're
Yeah.
expensive.
this sounds great, except Baby has to negotiate his own deal with you. It'd be a nightmare for you.
Listen,
I'm so
I'll
insulted.
in this case, I'll only take 20% for myself.
Do
we-
the insulted thing. That's a good question.
Yeah, because we, you've been in our lives for a while. We kind of know all your moves from a
Yes.
negotiating standpoint.
Yes, what I do now.
No, these are your tricks.
Yes,
Number one, completely insulted by the offer.
I'm
First
always
offer.
insulted
Um,
by the first offer.
first offer can't almost. I don't know if I can take it back to so and so.
Yeah.
Like that. I just can't believe.
By the way, no, my rule is no matter what the offer is, no matter if it's triple what I was hoping it was, it's the first offer and there's more money there.
Okay.
So
So
that's my
insulted
rule.
is
He's
one.
like Johnny Sack when they all told that Ginny Sack joke about the
Oh,
mole
yeah.
on her ass. Like, I'm insulted. He's like, oh, I am good. We're going to deal with this. Like,
Right.
Deal with the insult. Yeah.
Second move is sad and disappointed
Oh.
when you get.
Yes.
You're not just disappointed. You're actually like bummed out.
Yes.
You can't believe that it's gotten to this
And I
part of the
often
deal.
genuinely am.
The deal has gotten to this point, and you just can't
Yes.
fathom how we got here. And then third is angry.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the best.
The anger switch will go on too. Those are the
Yes, it
three
can.
moves, and you just kind of decide which card to
But
play.
my other thing is I'm also very kind and I'm very complimentary
Yeah.
of people. I am.
Oh, yeah.
And listen, I always like to leave a little bit on the table.
Do you feel it's
I
a
do.
challenge to get through those stages? Like, oh, I reeled them in.
It's like the 5 phases of grief.
Yeah, I told him I
Yeah.
was insulted, I was sad, I was angry, and look at that, it bumped up 25%. Does that
Did
make
you
it
ever
for
get
you?
a first offer and you were like, I'm actually not insulted. That's
Yeah.
a great offer.
No.
Okay.
What was the most insulted you ever were?
Oh God. That would be a tough one to answer because
Really?
I've been highly insulted
Okay.
more times than I could ever count. I'm doing this a long time.
Is there anybody who's not in the executive business anymore that you can
that I could
discuss
say?
who was the most insulting offer person?
No. I had
Anybody
some-
back in the day?
I had some jousts with Comedy Central,
yeah.
and
I
I was
stuck it to them,
insulted.
baby.
I was pretty insulted on several occasions
Oh,
there.
I'm sorry.
Right.
So, but it ultimately works out.
Did you ever talk to a therapist about these people that insult you?
No,
No?
I don't go to a therapist.
Right. Well, I try it.
I come from a long line of not believing in therapy.
Right. Hard nose.
Yeah.
it
I'm old
inside.
school, baby.
Exhale.
No, figure it out. You
Chang,
got-
does this make you more or less likely to hire a baby for
I
representation?
feel like we almost had a moment last night smoking cigarettes.
of course we did.
I was like, remember? I was like,
Yeah.
is he representing me now? I
Right.
don't know what was going on.
Yeah, what was that thing? Someone approached you.
Yeah.
Oh, you said how you can't get out of deals. Like people, well, you can't get specific, but people automatically sign you up to.
And baby just
to
took
cater.
over and gave me a lecture on what I
would
need
never
to do.
let you do that. Yeah.
That's right. Listen, we'll talk after this podcast, baby.
How many Asian clients on your roster, baby?
You'd be number one
I'd
with
be
a bullet.
Branch it out,
You'd be
baby.
one of one, baby.
Thank God.
Baby. Oh, go ahead, Chang.
Can I going back because I had to ask when you threw? People need to know they were like the bag was in the air. Security guards are angry, and they're yelling at him like, "Please do not cross the line," because there's like different sections that
chain.
you're not like buffered from
Yeah.
the secret
That's
area.
an extra wrinkle that I'd love when it's 100% my fault, but then he goes
Yeah.
and retrieves
Yeah.
it.
And the
now
bag
he's the
went
bad guy.
over 20 feet over
Thank you.
the security area. The entire time, I don't know if you were listening, I wanted to ask, did you hear the security guard saying, do not cross the line? And you just kept on going.
Yeah,
Well, what pissed me
he played
off
dumb.
is that cameraman was sitting. He wasn't filming anything. He was just sitting there. The bag was basically at his feet with all my shit sprued on the ground. He just looked at it, and I'm like, sir, excuse me, can I get that bag? And he just kind of like ignored me. And I was like, you know what? F this guy. I'm going to go get it myself.
Is that part of the Dixon negotiating tactics? You
I
just ignore?
tried. It didn't work.
He was
and
insulted.
Yeah.
Then he
I
got
do love
profoundly
such a
disappointed.
great situation because
That is your ideal because you're off the hook.
that's what I'm saying. You're
You
getting in
baited
trouble.
me. I did exactly what you wanted me to do, and I got in trouble.
Yeah, and
And
these
we
guys
all-
are being dicks too.
And we
because-
all got in trouble because of you.
We had to move on.
I
yeah.
scattered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We-
Simmons
I got
didn't
out of there.
take it, but
I
they're so
didn't want to
precious.
get kicked out.
There wasn't a golfer within 4 football fields of us.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
they're
so
like-
ridiculous though. And that was like a weird double barrier that had no reason to be.
right.
It's just like, why are there all these gates there?
Just so they could yell at you.
Oh.
Yeah, getting in trouble.
I was so mad at you.
So, baby, what's left career wise? What's left
Oh,
for you?
God.
You have grandkids now.
Listen, here's what it is.
you
I'm
you
never
own
going to
late night
retire
TV.
ever. You're
Never gonna
stuck
retire.
with me until they throw the dirt on me. I love what I do so much. I love everybody that I work with.
All right, this isn't
And
an infomercial.
no,
It's-
I know, but that's the
What the hell? I don't
truth.
know what's happening.
Here's
right
my
now.
retirement plan. Hopefully, we all slow down a little bit one day, and we're still working, but it's not as robust. And
He just wants to go to his 5-bedroom house and go back there every night.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
sleep on the couch.
I'm a simple
4
man,
bedrooms are
baby
just
Tom.
empty.
I'm a simple man. All I want is 10%. Come
How
on.
many hours a day do you sleep?
I'd say between 4 and 5 a day. I'm on a normal day.
Is it a straight 4 to 5 a day?
Yes, but then as Jimmy told me in 1998, you're waking up because you're having nicotine fits.
Oh.
And I swear that had never occurred to me. Like, I don't know why. It's like stupid. I should have figured that out on my own after all these years.
Mhm.
And I went, holy shit, he's right. I'm
He's
waking up because I'm having a nicotine fit.
Good
And
for you.
now I take a sleeping pill every night. And it still doesn't work. So anyway, what can I say?
Nicotine fit means your body needs to have
Yes.
conditioned it.
I'm waking up to have a cigarette, but I don't realize
Why don't you
it.
just have the cigarette and then go back to bed?
It's impossible for me to go back.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you'll see I'm often texting you guys at 4:00 in the morning, my time.
I've seen those texts
Yes.
and wondered why you're up at
Right. And
1:38
this is why
Pacific
I'm
time.
out on my porch smoking cigarettes and doing emails and texts.
And why you can't sleep with your wife in the same bed. Talk about insult.
Well, that's the coughing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a crazy barrage of coughing we heard.
Yeah,
the other
we-
day.
well-
No, it's not the coughing. I cannot sleep
Yeah,
without watching TV,
right.
and she doesn't like TV on once she's ready to go to bed.
See, that's how he lets his clients know that he saw their shows. He's not technically lying.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
You have the shows on
I do.
as you're asleep.
Yes. I'm dozing
Mhm.
often, but I'm making an attempt to watch.
You have
them.
been caught lying before. Remember, we used to
Oh,
tape 2
definitely.
Kimmels on a Thursday,
Yeah,
and he would have claimed to have seen a show.
you
that-
did
that-
get sloppy a
there's no
couple
way.
times.
I absolutely got nailed.
Dude, we did-
Definitely.
There were some TV watchers for in Baby's life. Great monologue last night, baby, and then we find out he had like no electricity.
No, and Sal would go, "What did he talk about, baby? Tell one joke."
Yeah,
I
what did
didn't
Perry
watch
Farrell
it.
say to Jimmy? What did one thing? Like,
Yeah.
but then you had your assistants watch and report
Correct.
back to you on stuff.
Correct.
Yeah.
Why not?
They send you like bullet points emails.
Yeah, and now they
Are
say.
you gonna do that with Chang when you're representing Chang?
Yes.
I think this is going to be a fruitful relationship.
I love
Listen, I'm so upfront and transparent. That's what's going to happen.
Mhm.
Listen,
I'm
one
going to
thing
lie to
I've
you
learned-
sometimes about watching your shit.
You're never going to watch anything I do. That's okay.
That, I'll try. How's that? I'll try.
the Netflix, they're telling Bella, like, we don't know what's happening at dinner time. It might not come back. His agent's driving a hard bargain. James Dixon. It's
Chang,
like, the guy who gave the toast?
He keeps saying he's insulted
for an hour and a half.
I don't know what to do.
One of the famous people here started to tear up. It was like the Indian that was littering. A little tear came down.
The
her
old
face.
commercial from 50 years ago.
She started to tear up.
How do you pitch a new client? Let the audience.
Yeah,
what
don't
do you
give
say?
that out.
Come on,
no
baby.
way.
No.
Way. Absolutely no.
What's
I don't
this
give out my
You
trade
insulted him. Now
secrets.
Insulted him.
Now he's
insult him a little
insulted.
bit.
How dare you?
A little bit.
A little bit.
Do people ask you, hey, how do you prepare that dish? You wouldn't give that
He might.
recipe.
Nah, he would sometimes.
I would sometimes.
I mean, he has a
But
show where he
not-
gives away the dishes every episode.
Well, what's important to lay the groundwork?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't have to get into specifics.
It's baby's a relationship guy.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And what are you looking
Would he
for
click with somebody,
in somebody
That's
that
on
you
a
want to
friendship
represent?
level?
That's right. And we'll say that again.
What are you looking for? Like, what's sparking your eye when you were like, I got to represent this person? Right?
Well,
Because you have such a crazy roster of talent over the years.
Well, now it's just money.
All right. One thing.
You got to make a lot of money, north of $3 million.
Wait, say that again.
That's what attracts you at this point in your life.
Do you make at least $3 million a year, baby doll? I need to know. Because if I can't money grab 300 grand, we need to talk much later. How's that? I'm just kidding.
He's already insulted of your salary.
Listen,
Not
I've
at
learned
all.
one thing is that you are fearless and relentless and you have no shame or embarrassment whatsoever.
But
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
That's representing his
amazing.
client
That's
at all
fair
costs.
enough.
That's right.
You know,
All right, baby.
Liking someone and wanting to work with them, especially at this point in my life, matters greatly.
Yeah.
And that is a criteria for sure.
Baby, could you do a baby doll hall of fame that you could
Ooh.
open in Long Island with like your best clients ever, little plaques?
Oh, that's good.
Maybe put that in the basement.
Yes, I could. I'll put it in the golf sim.
So who would be the first client inducted?
Jay Stu with a bullet. It's got to be
Well,
one.
that's your longest relationship, basically, right?
It is. Yes, it is.
Since what year?
Well, I wasn't even an agent.
Right.
I would say we're going on 38 years. And John,
38 years?
yes, John wasn't qualified to be a client and I wasn't qualified to represent him. But I said to him, listen, if I get promoted, you're going to be my first client. And
So is he first ballot, and then we'll take another season before some
Well,
other
so-
inductees come in?
Can we
Rush
walk
one?
how he almost screwed up John's 1990s?
Oh yeah, do that.
Yeah, because initially MTV show,
how was that a screw up? It was
well, it got canceled.
it was
Supposed
the best and most hottest platform.
supposed
one
to take
be
over
on.
the Larry Sanders Show. Didn't happen.
That's
you-
another
he was in
story
the-
for another day.
He was in a horror movie called The Faculty. I feel like that was your fault. He's got a goatee on. He ends up turning into an alien.
Well, as John would say, he learned very quickly.
I'm glad he stood by you during all these decisions. You
You got
advised him
power
on.
bombed by John Cena. We're busted up his
Yeah,
ribs.
that was recent.
That was
You let him
recent.
get power bombed to
I
impress
was
his
against
son.
it. He didn't listen.
Insulting again.
But Daily Show, then you talked
I
him into,
redeemed myself. At
you
that
talked him
point.
into that.
Yeah,
I don't know how he trusted you after The Faculty.
that's a really good point. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
But then there was Big Daddy. That was a good one for John.
Big Daddy was good.
That was really good for John.
How about Playing by Heart?
Did anyone ever see that movie? It didn't even matter.
My wife likes that movie.
She does?
Angelina Jolie's in
John
it.
was
Yeah.
really good in that.
He was good
He
in
was
that.
very good in
You
it.
might not have seen it yourself. I'm looking at you now.
I saw it. I don't remember it, but I know he was good in it at the time.
Can't you tell the Larry Sanders story, or you're still not allowed?
I don't know if John would want that.
Let's hear it
discussed.
then.
I won't do
Sal,
it.
do you want to tell the Larry
I don't know
Sanders
if I
story?
know it.
Out of
You
respect
do
to
it better.
John, I'm not going to speak out of
Okay.
school.
There was a moment there, though, when it seemed like the show was going to continue with him hosting the show and Larry in retirement.
Yes, that is accurate.
I would think yes, but yes, it was never guaranteed or firm, but that was maybe the plan. And many people speculated on that. So that's not
Look how
speaking out of
nervous he's
school.
getting.
I know.
This is great.
No,
I
I'm not
finally
nervous
found the
at
right
all.
question. Hey,
I just don't want to, listen, I can't talk about
Yeah.
clients' deals and shit like that. That wouldn't be okay.
Were you angry, disappointed? What's the third thing he does? Disappointed,
Insulted, angry, and
were you more insulted, disappointed, or angry when the Larry Sanders thing didn't work out?
I was rip shit.
What's the most rip shit you've been? Is that number one?
No.
What's number one? Just all right.
I
So
don't
1
think
through
that-
7 involves Daniel Callison. Then 8 is
That's
what?
not true. Let's just say
Yeah, let's just say.
I actually can't talk about it, but that was not the number one. But I
Can't
was
you just
mad.
talk in vague where we don't actually say what happened,
Yeah, who
but
do you
you
like
can
to
give
scream
us
at?
like a hint of what happened?
I'll just say it was some shenanigans in late night television, and I'll leave it at that.
I know what it is.
You may or may not, but
There was some, yeah, I know what you're talking about. There was some possible shanking in the works that you found out about. That's all I'm going to say.
yeah, it's not even worth talking about.
Yeah. Okay.
But to be honest, how lucky are you to have navigated this, representing 3 heavy hitters at late night
Well,
and avoiding conflicts for the most part for 2.5
listen,
decades?
conflict is good. It can also benefit. My knowledge of all those can often help each of
Right.
them, but
even as they're competing against each other.
Right, I know. Were you worried one of them at some point was like, "Hey, what's going on here? Does he have my best interests?"
of course I do. That's why they know I always do. That is never in question, ever.
That's not what Jimmy said once.
Any last questions, Chang, before we wrap?
What happened with the gnomes, baby? You were
Oh, yeah.
all
What happened with the gnomes?
Stupid gnomes.
You wanted the gnomes
That
badly.
pissed me off.
You
The,
spent a lot of
so
time.
the Masters, they have these gnomes that you can get in different parts of the course, and people show up at 6:30 in the morning to try to buy the gnomes.
Yeah,
I don't really fully understand.
most of them so they can resell them on eBay for a profit. That obviously isn't my motivation.
You
but-
want to put them in one of your 7 houses.
Yeah, I want to display them, of
Yeah.
course.
Why? They're dumb. If you're not reselling them, what's the freaking point? It's like the Beanie Babies of the golf world.
Yeah, speaking of
Yeah.
Beanie Babies,
Yeah, I had them.
one could say that was freaking dumb.
But I did it with the whole.
You collected
to resell
Beanie
it.
Babies?
We don't need to talk about
So
that.
here's why I was disappointed.
But I wanted to resell them though. That's
You
why.
did?
Well, yeah, I wasn't attached to them.
But here's what's disappointing about
Yeah.
you getting screwed over on the gnome today that he thought he was getting. I'm
Yeah.
positive Sal would have broken it at some point today. I
You
know
are
you were
right.
thinking about it. Oh, baby, let me see what they and just that would have been
You
it
know,
for the gnome.
You know,
And it would have
God
been
works in
hilarious.
mysterious ways. You're absolutely right. It was a gift from God that I
Yeah.
did not get that.
That would have been so good.
It would have been
build
great.
up all week and then crash.
Simmons, turn your camera on. You're
Oh
gonna
my
want to catch
God.
this.
He would have like drop kicked it.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
like really smashed it badly somehow. I know.
Baby, who's gonna win the Masters?
After first round today, I mean, I know Scheffler is always hard to bet against, but it's such a boring pick. Well, I picked Oberg, and I'm going to go with him.
He's in the
He's
the
in
mix.
the hunt. He had a really great shot, 32 on the back. I'm going with the guy I picked here.
Who do you have?
I had Morikawa. It was -3, then bogey to even. I'll stick with him, but I almost feel like at this point you put money on Scheffler because if he's like this tomorrow, I think he'll be like
The odds certainly
140,
shifted.
150. Yeah.
Have any opinions, Chang?
In our bet, I picked Scheffler and Straka, and Straka is like third from last place.
Yeah, stay with Straka.
I'm staying with Straka.
He did look strapping when we
Yeah.
saw him.
What did he
yeah.
finish? What did he finish at?
He got
Plus what?
Plus 6.
Oh God,
It's
You're
an
right.
epic comeback. This is going to be a movie
oh
that
baby,
you're going to be able to represent.
baby, the match.
Chang
Here
was
we
the
go.
odds-on favorite.
I
Yeah.
do wonder if
Who-
Beefy Bryson might. This could be the
Ooh.
moment
Well, you
for him. We
picked-
talked about that earlier. He's
picked
one of my
him,
picks.
right? Right.
Yeah, he's in the mix.
He's definitely in the mix.
He's in the mix.
But who
Yeah.
do you think will win?
I think it's gonna be one of the big guns. This feels like a big guns,
Like a
tournament.
Scheffler kind of thing?
Yeah, just one of
Rory
the real.
Scheffler.
This feels like a moment this weekend,
I hear
and just
ya.
in general, a crazy sports weekend with this. All the stuff happening in basketball all at the
Right.
same time. Because God forbid the NBA isn't on a weekend where
Right.
other major shit is happening.
Can I ask you as
Yeah.
the sports guy a question?
Yeah.
Is the Masters arguably the greatest sporting event overall for like a weekend sport, like like a more than one basketball game or one, game 7 of a World Series? Is the Masters the best sporting event if you love, not even if you love golf, just in general?
I have an answer, but do you want to answer that, Chang? In your opinion?
I do, and I think it is for a consistent basis, not a one-off. It's not like an underdog that reaches the Super Bowl, because this is like Disneyland for adults. My excitement every time. I said this today, we're getting into the gates, and I was like, this is what my kids feel like going to Disneyland.
Yes.
And I hate everything after a while. I'm not.
You're so happy excited every day, right?
Yeah, I was so happy, and you don't even have to like golf,
right,
to have a good time here. The food's great. This felt like we're like a college road trip this week, and this is the guy that went for the first time. What do you think?
Yeah. I love it. I love everything about it, but I don't think you could say that. I don't even have an answer for you, but I think it's eliminated because most people would rather be home on Sunday watching on TV than following the action, because it's so hard, right? It's so hard. I had a million.
Well, it's two different answers, though. It's like it's fun to go, but you also want to be home on the last day so you can catch everything.
Which is so as a televised event, the Sunday Masters, is that the greatest day in sports?
It's the greatest if it's close. Good stuff's happening.
Right. So
I was thinking today, because I was talking to somebody who hadn't been here before, and we were walking the course. They aren't huge golf fans, and I was trying to explain why I love the Masters. It's the only sporting event that's exactly the same every year, but the people have changed, and it goes back so far.
Yes, the history.
And, I've been here 4 times, and each time it feels the same. The holes are the same. It's still cool in all the same ways. But the really cool thing is, like you said, your first Masters that you remember was like 1970?
Yes. Billy Casper won in 1970. I was 8 years old.
Yeah, so I vaguely remember the 75 one as my first one, but I just remember Nicholas in the 70s and hoping he would win the Masters and becoming attached to him. But then you just think these different generations just move through. It's the exact same course. There's nothing else really like it.
Right.
Like they don't play the World Series or the Super Bowl. Like nothing has like the continuity. And even in golf, like all the tournaments are in different places.
Correct.
Like it'll be like, oh, cool, the U.S. Open's in Pebble Beach this year, but it might not have been for. So it's just, I think that's what it is. And like even when we were talking in the last segment about like seeing Spieth, and like Spieth is on the 12th hole, and you're just like,
right.
Oh,
as they say, tradition like no other.
It's like the players have baggage with the course and the holes, and they hit these different stages. Like you saw Freddie Couples today. Now
amazing.
He's the old guy. He takes the Tom Watson spot.
There is nothing like
really
the
cool.
walk with you guys. You guys knowing the ins and outs of every hole. And hey, if we're in this spot, we could see 3 holes. And aside from just Amen Corner, there's just a whole bunch. Like, oh my God. Like if you walked around your neighborhood, I don't know if you would know the streets as well as you do like the holes and everything.
Well, and
else.
especially like being able to be that close to all these famous golfers.
Yeah.
Where you could just be like, all of a sudden, there's Rory. He's 3 feet away walking by us.
Why is he ignoring me?
Why is that really tan guy screaming his name?
I literally breathe it in.
Yeah.
Right.
The smell, because I know olfactory, even though I probably don't have the smell I should have after all these cigarettes, I literally breathe it in to try to like capture. It has, everything is uniquely Augusta National, even the smells.
And
but
then
we're all on our best behavior, right?
For the most part.
But we've been told all these stories this week about players being so nervous because of the history too. So it just makes it such a special place.
So if somebody wanted and asked you to cook the dinner,
1,000%.
that would be your number one dinner you've ever cooked?
I would probably put it up there. Yeah, for sure. I would be a no-brainer. I'm going to do it.
You mean like the Champions dinner?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great one.
No-brainer.
Here's what I'd say to you. They'd be lucky to have you, baby.
Oh, wow.
Your new agent. Your new agent.
I mean that.
Save it for the Amazon exec.
Baby. Augusta called. I did not like their offer. They wouldn't even pay for a sous chef, baby. I don't know if we should do this.
I'm insulting. You should be insulting.
That fucking place. Never going there again. Jackasses.
Here's what I would do with that. If they ever called, I'd say, you know what? We're honored.
Right.
for this offer.
And can
In
I stay on the
fact-
course?
In fact, he will obviously do it pro bono,
Right.
but there'll be just one little cost.
We
We're
get to
all
play the course
we're
on
all
Monday.
playing the course
Yeah.
Really?
And everyone's getting a no.
and throw in 3 gnomes.
And you haven't played the course.
I have not.
Baby, we gotta remedy this.
I've played it in my mind.
What hole would you be the most excited to play?
That's a great question. I'm going to say 15 because I would want to see if I could.
Get
I
there.
mean, if I really crushed my drive from the members tee,
yeah.
there's an absolute chance that I could put it on in 2.
Mm.
And
We're talking about baby today or baby when the swing speed was at its apex?
today.
Mm.
Today.
Jeez.
All
I
right.
will tell you, and then I will boil it.
No,
Very
this is it,
quick.
baby. It's very late.
I was trying to wrap up.
I
Come on.
came within a razor's hair of getting on the course.
Okay, good.
I'm going. I get invited on Monday. They allow the media to play.
Yeah.
Pin placements are the same as Sunday.
Right.
Okay. Les Moonves, Ray
There
Romano,
we go.
me, and someone else. I can't remember who. I'm literally in my garage. I'm ready to go. It's the next day. I'm home. It's Sunday. I'm literally taking toothpicks and cleaning the
Grooves.
the grooves of my irons. I'm ready to go. I'm not kidding. I'm shy. I get a text from Ray. Baby doll, I'm so sorry. You got bumped. Les invited like the CEO of AT&T and you're out. I'm really sorry. And that was it. I was on my way to go down there and I got bumped at the last
Took
minute.
the toothpick, stuck it in his throat. That was the end. The last we heard.
Stuck it in my eyes and that was the last. Yeah.
Wow, that was like when Ralph Cox got cut from the 1980 Olympic hockey team. That's the last cut.
Most
It's
insulting
even
text.
sadder.
That's about as sad as I've ever been.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But I'll get on. I know I will. I haven't really worked it. I haven't tried very hard. I figured it would come
You better hurry. You're
organically.
in your-
I think we have to try to get more involved.
We're gonna make this happen for you, baby.
Yeah.
If you guys do that, I'll love you more than I love you now, and I'll be forever indebted. How's that?
Well, you're his agent now, so
Okay.
we just basically signed a contract.
I got
All
some
right.
papers out there, baby.
Baby, a pleasure as always.
Thank
Sal
you,
Chang,
Bill.
thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
All right, that's it for the podcast. Thanks to Sal and Baby Doll and Chang and House and Nathan. Don't forget to listen to Fairway Rollin' on Sunday right after the Masters ends. You can get their recap podcast there. Don't forget about Zach Lowe's new podcast, The Zach Lowe Show. Don't forget that I'm coming back on Sunday night with Rosillo. We're going to wait until after all the Sunday night games and the Masters, and we'll try to break down an early preview of the playoff picture and everything we saw over the weekend. I am looking forward to that. Don't forget about Celtic City on Max. First 6 episodes are up. We just finished the Bird Era. We're about to go into the 90s on Monday night on HBO. So stay tuned for that and enjoy the weekend. I will see you on Sunday night. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelpline.ma.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.